First contact, humanity's unexpected entrance onto the galactic stage. The vast emptiness of space shimmered as the Zarkonian battlecruiser Relentless Thunder dropped out of hyperdrive at the edge of an unremarkable solar system. Captain Vexler, a towering insectoid with iridescent blue carapace, clicked his mandibles in anticipation. His compound eyes scanned the holographic display of the system's third planet, a vibrant blue and green orb that pulsed with life. Preliminary scans complete, Captain, chirped his science officer, Nix. The planet appears to be at the cusp of interstellar capability. Primitive spacecraft detected in orbit and on one of their moons. Vexilor's antennae twitched. Excellent. Another easy conquest for the glory of the Zarkonian Empire. Prepare the invasion fleet. As the crew bustled about, readying for what they assumed would be a routine subjugation, alarms suddenly blared across the bridge. Nix's multifaceted eyes widened in shock. Captain, multiple unidentified vessels approaching at high velocity. They weren't there a moment ago. Vexilor whirled to face the main view screen. A swarm of sleek, angular ships had appeared seemingly from nowhere, arrayed in a defensive formation around the blue planet. Their design was unlike anything in the Zarkonian database. Impossible, Vexilor hissed. This species shouldn't have cloaking technology, let alone a fleet of this size. Before he could issue orders, a transmission crackled through the ship's communications system. A bipedal alien appeared on screen, pink-skinned, with a tuft of dark fur atop its head. Its mouth moved, producing sounds that the ship's translation matrix struggled to decipher. Attention, unknown vessel. This is Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. You have entered restricted space. State your intentions immediately or be fired upon. Vexilor's mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation. This was not how first contact scenarios typically unfolded for the Zarkonians. Usually, primitive species cowered in fear or made pitiful attempts at diplomacy. But this was a challenge. I am Captain Vexilor of the Zarkonian Empire, he replied, puffing out his thorax. We claim this system in the name of our glorious emperor. Surrender now, and your species may be granted the honor of serving as subjects. The alien, Admiral Chen, actually had the audacity to laugh. I'm afraid that won't be happening, Captain. We suggest you turn your ship around and inform your emperor that Earth and humanity are not up for grabs. Vexilor's compound eyes narrowed. You dare defy the might of the Zarkonian Empire. Your pathetic fleet will be crushed. He cut the transmission and turned to his weapons officer. Target their lead vessel and fire. Show these primitives the consequences of their insolence. The Relentless Thunder's main cannon charged, a bolt of searing energy lancing out towards the human flagship. But at the last possible second, the targeted vessel vanished. The energy blast passed harmlessly through empty space. What treachery is this? Vexilor screeched. Suddenly, alarms blared once more. The human ships had reappeared, now much closer, surrounding the Zarkonian cruiser. Admiral Chen's face flickered onto the view screen again, her expression stern. That was your only warning shot, Captain. The next one won't miss. I'll say this one last time. Leave our system now or face the consequences. Vexilor's mandibles quivered with rage. How had these humans developed technology that could outmaneuver a Zarkonian battlecruiser? It was inconceivable. You have made a grave mistake, he snarled. The full might of the Zarkonian armada will descend upon your world. Your species will be eradicated for this insult. Admiral Chen's eyes hardened. Then you've made your choice. Humanity will not bow to threats or bullies, no matter where they come from in the galaxy. Remember this day, Captain. Remember that humans stood against you, and know that we'll stand against any who threaten our freedom. The transmission cut off. Vexilor had only a moment to bark orders before the human fleet opened fire. Explosions rocked the relentless thunder as weapons the Zarkonians had never encountered before tore through their shields but they weren't even there. Retreat. Vexilor shrieked as systems failed all around him. Back to Zarkonian space. As the battered cruiser limped into hyperdrive, Vexilor's mind reeled. They had come expecting an easy conquest, but instead had found a species not only ready to defend itself, but armed with technology that rivaled or even surpassed their own. The galaxy had just become a much more dangerous place, and humanity had announced its presence on the cosmic stage not with a whimper, but with a resounding declaration: "We are here, we are strong, and we will not be conquered." Back on Earth, in the hidden command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Chen let out a long breath as she watched the alien ship flee. She turned to her second-in-command, a grizzled veteran named Colonel Marcus Reeves. "Well, that could have gone better," she said wryly. Reeves grunted. "Could have gone a hell of a lot worse, too. You think they'll be back?" Chen's expression turned grim. "Count on it. This was just the beginning. Humanity's no longer alone in the universe, Marcus, and it seems our first neighbors aren't the friendly type." "Then it's a good thing we've been preparing," Reeves replied, gesturing to the holographic display showing Earth's defensive fleet and the newly activated planetary shield grid. Chen nodded. "Indeed. Send word to all nations. As of this moment, we're at war. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." As klaxons began to sound, and the command center erupted into a flurry of activity, Helena Chen steeled herself for the challenges ahead. Humanity had repelled its first alien invasion, but she knew it wouldn't be the last. The stars had once seemed full of promise and wonder. Now they held a new meaning: danger and the fight for survival. But if this first encounter had proven anything, it was that humanity wouldn't go quietly into the night. They would stand tall, they would fight back, and they would show the galaxy why humans were a force to be reckoned with. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The era of humanity's ascension to the stars had begun. The resistance begins. Humans fight back against alien oppression. 6 months after the initial encounter with the Zarkonians, Earth was a changed world. The global economy had shifted entirely to a war footing, with nations setting aside old rivalries to face the common threat from the stars. But despite humanity's best efforts, they were fighting an uphill battle against a vast interstellar empire. Colonel Sarah Hawkins crouched behind the twisted wreckage of what had once been a tank, her eyes scanning the ruined cityscape of Chicago. The acrid smell of smoke and ozone filled her nostrils, a constant reminder of the ongoing struggle against the alien invaders. "Viper Squad, report in," she whispered into her comm unit. "Viper 2, in position. Viper 3, ready. Viper 4, good to go." Sarah nodded to herself. Her team was in place for their most daring operation yet. The Zarkonians had established a massive processing facility in the heart of the city, using it to convert Earth's resources into fuel for their war machine. It was heavily guarded, but intelligence suggested that a key Zarkonian scientist was visiting today, one whose capture could turn the tide of the war. "Remember the plan," Sarah said quietly. "We go in fast and quiet. Our priority is capturing Dr. Zexaura. Everything else is secondary." As she finished speaking, a low rumble filled the air. Sarah's heart raced as she saw a sleek, purple-hued shuttle descend from the clouds, escorted by a squadron of Zarkonian fighters. "That's our cue, Vipers. Move out." Sarah vaulted over her cover, her powered exosuit enhancing her speed and strength as she sprinted toward the facility. Around her, coat figures shimmered into visibility, her squad, each wearing the latest in human stealth technology. They reached the perimeter fence unchallenged, their adaptive camouflage rendering them nearly invisible to the Zarkonian sensors. Sarah placed a small device against the fence, and a section of it simply disappeared, the nanites in the device consuming the metal. "Viper 2, you're on overwatch," Sarah ordered as they slipped through the gap. Rest of you on me." They moved swiftly through the facility's outer grounds, dodging patrols of hulking Zarkonian soldiers. Sarah's mind raced, recalling the briefings on Zarkonian physiology and tactics. Their exoskeletons were tough, but vulnerable at the joints. Their compound eyes gave them excellent peripheral vision, but created a blind spot directly in front of them. As they approached the main building, alarms suddenly blared. Sarah cursed under her breath. They'd been detected. "Plan B," she barked. "Viper 3, deploy the EMPs." One of her squad members tossed several small spheres into the air. They detonated with a silent pulse of energy that fried every Zarkonian system in the vicinity. In the ensuing chaos, Sarah and her team charged forward. They burst into the main atrium just as Dr. Zexara and her escort were trying to retreat to their shuttle. The Zarkonian scientist was easy to spot, smaller than the warriors, with an enlarged cranial structure that housed their species' formidable intellect. "Take them down," Sarah shouted, her plasma rifle spitting blue fire. The atrium erupted into a furious firefight. Zarkonian energy weapons lanced through the air, leaving scorch marks on the walls. But the humans had the element of surprise, and their EMP had left the aliens' more advanced weapons useless. Sarah ducked and weaved through the battle, her eyes fixed on Dr. Zexara. The alien scientist was being hustled towards an emergency exit by two towering guards. With a burst of speed from her exosuit, Sarah closed the distance. She tackled one guard, the servo motors in her suit giving her the strength to grapple with a much larger alien. As they crashed to the ground, Sarah jammed her rifle against a gap in the Zarkonian's armor and fired, ending the fight. The second guard turned, mandibles clicking in fury, but a precise shot from Viper 4 dropped him before he could bring his weapon to bear. Dr. Zexara stood alone now, her large eyes darting back and forth in panic. Sarah approached cautiously, her rifle trained on the alien scientist. "Dr. Zexara," she said, her suit's translator converting her words to the harsh clicks and whistles of the Zarkonian language. "You're coming with us." The alien's antennae twitched rapidly. You're making a mistake," Zexara replied, her own words translated into English. "The Empire will not stop until your world is ash." Sarah's jaw tightened. "Then we'll just have to stop them first, and you're going to help us do it." A sudden explosion rocked the building. Sarah glanced at her tactical display. Zarkonian reinforcements were inbound. "Viper Squad, we have the package. Fall back to Extraction Point Alpha." As they retreated with their valuable prisoner, Sarah allowed herself a moment of hope. This was the biggest victory humanity had achieved since the invasion began. With Dr. Zexara's knowledge, they might finally have a chance to turn the tables on the Zarkonian Empire. But as they raced through the ruins of Chicago, dodging energy blasts and the shadows of alien dropships, Sarah knew the real fight was just beginning. The Zarkonians wouldn't take this loss lightly. Their reprisal would be swift and terrible. Yet, for the first time since the war began, humanity had struck a real blow against their oppressors. They had shown that despite the odds, despite the Zarkonians' technological superiority, humans would not go quietly into the night. As Sarah and her team vanished into the underground network of resistance tunnels, the fires of rebellion burned a little brighter across the occupied Earth. The message spread from city to city, continent to continent. We can fight back. We can win. The resistance had truly begun, human ingenuity unleashed, turning the tide with unconventional tactics. 3 months after the daring capture of Dr. Zexara, the face of the war had changed dramatically. The Zarkonian scientist's defection had provided humanity with invaluable insights into alien technology and tactics. But more importantly, it had revealed a crucial weakness in the seemingly invincible empire, that utter lack of adaptability. Dr. Amelia Reyes stood in the heart of Project Prometheus, a vast underground complex beneath the Australian outback. Holographic displays flickered around her, showing the fruits of humanity's newfound knowledge and their own irrepressible creativity. As you can see, Admiral Chen, Amelia explained to the holographic figure before her, we've made significant breakthroughs by combining Zarcomian tech with human innovation. She gestured to a sleek, silvery device on a nearby workbench. This is the Chaos Engine. It exploits a quirk in Zarconian neural biology, broadcasting a signal that disrupts their ability to process visual information. To put it simply, it makes them see things that aren't there. Admiral Chen's hologram nodded approvingly. Psychological warfare. I like it. What else have you got for us, Doctor? Amelia smiled, her eyes gleaming with excitement. Oh, we're just getting started. She led the Admiral through a whirlwind tour of humanity's latest weapons in the fight against the Zarconians. There were swarms of microscopic robots that could eat through alien armor, EMP grenades specifically tuned to Zarconian technology, and even a prototype device that could temporarily hijack their ship's navigational systems. But our crown jewel, Amelia said, stopping before a massive hangar door, is this. The doors slid open, revealing an enormous mech suit, easily 5 times the size of a human. Its design was a striking fusion of angular human aesthetics and the organic curves favored by Zarconian engineers. We call it the Titan, Amelia announced proudly. It's powered by a miniaturized version of the Zarconians' own fusion reactors, and its neural interface allows a single pilot to control it as if it were their own body. In terms of raw power, it can go toe-to-toe with the heaviest assault units. Admiral Chen whistled low. Impressive, but will it be enough? Amelia's expression turned serious. On its own? No, but combined with everything else we developed and the guerrilla tactics our forces have perfected, it just might tip the scales. The Admiral nodded grimly. Then it's time to put it all to the test. We've identified a major Zarconian supply hub in what used to be Singapore. If we can take it out, we'll cripple their operations across Southeast Asia. We're ready, Amelia assured her. Just say the word. 2 weeks later, Captain Miguel Ortiz stood at the controls of the first operational Titan, concealed in the hull of a captured Zarconian transport ship. Around him, elite squads of resistance fighters checked their gear one last time, each equipped with the latest innovations from Project Prometheus. As they approached the sprawling Zarconian base that had once been a thriving human city, Miguel took a deep breath. Everything hinged on the next few minutes. The transport's bay doors opened and chaos erupted. Miguel surged forward in the Titan, its massive feet leaving craters in the landing pad. Zarconian defenders turned to face this new threat, only to have their senses overwhelmed by the activated chaos engines. Many fired wildly at hallucinations, while others simply collapsed, their alien minds unable to process the conflicting sensory input. Behind the Titan, squads of human fighters swarmed out. They moved with practiced precision, deploying EMP grenades to disable Zarconian energy shields and using their nanobot swarms to literally eat through alien defenses. Miguel pushed the Titan to its limits, its massive fists smashing through Zarconian war machines that had once seemed invincible. The neural interface made the gigantic mech feel like an extension of his own body, allowing him to dance through the battlefield with startling agility for something so large. In the skies above, captured and retrofitted Zarconian fighters engaged their alien counterparts. The human pilots, flying with a mixture of stolen alien tech and their own innovations, ran circles around their opponents. Years of fighting a desperate resistance had honed their skills to a razor's edge, and now, with technology to match, they were unleashing hell. As the battle raged, a team of hackers led by the brilliant Zara Wong worked furiously to infiltrate the Zarconian computer systems. They deployed viruses specifically designed to exploit alien software architecture, seizing control of automated defenses and turning them against their former masters. The Zarconians fought back fiercely, but for the first time since the invasion, they found themselves completely outmatched. Every tactic they had relied on was being countered. Every technological advantage they had enjoyed was being turned against them. 3 hours after the attack began, Miguel stood in the smoking ruins of the Zarkonian command center, the Titan's massive frame looming over the captured alien officers. He opened a channel to Resistance headquarters. "This is Captain Ortiz. Singapore is ours." A cheer went up from the assembled human fighters. It wasn't just a victory, it was a revolution. They had taken on the Zarkonians at their strongest point and emerged triumphant. As news of the battle spread, resistance cells across the globe launched similar attacks. The Zarkonians, unable to adapt quickly to these new tactics and technologies, found themselves being pushed back on multiple fronts. In her underground lab, Dr. Amelia Reyes watched the reports flood in with a mixture of pride and determination. They had proven that humanity could beat the aliens at their own game, but she knew the war was far from over. "All right, team," she called out to her fellow scientists and engineers. "They'll be trying to adapt to what we threw at them today. Let's make sure we stay 2 steps ahead." As humanity's brightest minds bent themselves to the task of innovation, a new sense of hope spread across the embattled Earth. The Zarkonians had awakened a sleeping giant, and now they were feeling the full force of human ingenuity unleashed. The tide of war had shifted, and for the first time, the end of Zarkonian occupation seemed not just possible, but inevitable. Alien alliances, humanity gains unlikely allies in the struggle. As humanity's resistance gained momentum, ripples spread across the galaxy. The Zarkonian Empire, long feared as an unstoppable force, was being pushed back by a species they had dismissed as primitive. This unexpected turn of events did not go unnoticed by other galactic civilizations. On the distant world of Naloria, a planet of sweeping crystal forests and floating cities, the Council of Elders convened an emergency session. The Nalorians, a race of tall, willowy beings with iridescent skin and 4 arms, had long maintained a policy of strict neutrality in galactic affairs. But now they faced a decision that could alter the course of their civilization. Elder Syra, her luminous eyes grave, addressed the assembly. "For centuries, we have watched the Zarkonians expand unchecked, too fearful to stand against them. But now these humans, a species unknown to us mere solar cycles ago, have done what we thought impossible. They have given us hope." Murmurs rippled through the council chamber. Elder Kale, always the voice of caution, spoke up. "But at what cost? If we ally ourselves with the humans, we risk the wrath of the Empire. Our world could burn for such a choice." "Our world may burn regardless," Syra countered. "The Zarkonians' appetite for conquest knows no bounds. If they defeat humanity, do you think they will simply stop? No, they will come for us next, and we will face them alone." The debate raged for days, but in the end, the decision was made. The Nalorians would reach out to Earth, offering their advanced biotechnology and vast knowledge of galactic politics in exchange for protection against the Zarkonian threat. Back on Earth, in the newly liberated ruins of Paris, Admiral Helena Chen stared in disbelief at the holographic message from the Nalorian emissaries. She turned to her advisors, a mix of military personnel and civilian experts. "Thoughts?" she asked, her voice carefully neutral. Dr. Amelia Reyes was the first to speak up. "That biotech is decades, maybe centuries ahead of ours. With their help, we could heal our wounded faster, possibly even terraform the areas the Zarkonians have ravaged." Colonel Marcus Reeves, ever the skeptic, frowned. "It could be a trap. For all we know, they're in league with the Zarkonians, trying to gain our trust to strike at us from within." Chen nodded, considering both perspectives. "We can't afford to dismiss potential allies, but we also can't risk lowering our guard. We'll proceed cautiously. Set up a secure meeting on neutral ground, perhaps one of Jupiter's moons. Full security protocols." As preparations for the historic meeting began, news of the potential alliance spread through the resistance. For many humans, it was a profound moment. confirmation that they were truly part of a larger galactic community, and that their struggle against the Zarkonians had implications beyond their own world. 2 weeks later, on the icy surface of Europa, a small delegation of humans waited nervously as the sleek Nalorian ship descended from the stars. Admiral Chen stood at the forefront, flanked by Dr. Reyes and a squad of their best soldiers, including Captain Miguel Ortiz, in a scaled-down version of the Titan's suit. The ship's doors opened with a hiss of escaping air, and the Nalorian delegation emerged. Their otherworldly beauty took the humans' breath away. They seemed to shimmer in the light reflected off Europa's icy surface. Elder Sura stepped forward, her 4 arms moving in a complex gesture of greeting. "People of Earth," she said, her words translated by an advanced device at her throat, "we come in the spirit of friendship and mutual aid." Admiral Chen returned the greeting, trying to mimic the arm movements with her own 2 limbs. "We welcome you, honored representatives of Naloria. Your offer of alliance is unexpected, but appreciated." As the 2 groups began to talk, initial wariness gave way to cautious optimism. The Nalorians were fascinated by humanity's innovative approach to combating the Zarkonians, while the humans were in awe of the advanced biotechnology the aliens offered to share. But it was more than just an exchange of technology. The Nalorians provided crucial intelligence about the wider galaxy, other species that might be sympathetic to Earth's plight, the true extent of Zarkonian territory, and the complex web of alliances and rivalries that shaped galactic politics. As the meeting progressed, Dr. Reyes found herself deep in conversation with a Nalorian scientist named Zyle. They excitedly discussed the possibilities of combining Nalorian biotech with human cybernetics, envisioning advancements that could revolutionize both medicine and warfare. "Your species' ability to adapt and innovate is truly remarkable," Zyle commented, his luminous eyes wide with admiration. "In all our years of observing the galaxy, we've never seen anything quite like it." Amelia smiled, a mix of pride and determination in her eyes. "We've had to evolve quickly to survive. The Zarkonians forced us to push the boundaries of what we thought was possible." Meanwhile, Admiral Chen and Elder Sura hammered out the details of their alliance. The Nalorians would provide technology and intelligence, while Earth would offer military support and a front line in the fight against Zarkonian expansion. As the meeting drew to a close, Elder Sura made an announcement that sent shockwaves through the human delegation. "We are not alone in our desire to see the Zarkonian Empire checked. There are other species, other civilizations, who have watched your resistance with growing interest. If you are willing, we can arrange introductions." Admiral Chen's mind raced with the implications. Earth, so recently isolated and fighting for its very survival, now stood poised to become a linchpin in a galactic alliance against the Zarkonians. "We would be honored," she replied, her voice steady despite the emotion threatening to overwhelm her. As the humans and Nalorians parted ways, each returning to their ships, there was a new energy in the air. The war was far from over, but for the first time, it felt like the scales were truly beginning to tip. Back on Earth, as news of the alliance spread, a wave of hope and excitement swept through the resistance. Humanity was no longer alone in the cosmos. They had allies, advanced technology, and a growing network of support among the stars. The Zarkonians had sought to conquer Earth. Instead, they had catapulted humanity onto the galactic stage, where they were quickly proving themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. As Dr. Reyes began integrating Nalorian biotechnology into their existing projects, and Admiral Chen prepared for meetings with other potential alien allies, one thing became clear. The next phase of the war was about to begin, and this time, humanity would be fighting with the backing of the stars themselves. The final push. A desperate gambit to save Earth and humanity. The war had raged for 3 years, and Earth bore the scars of relentless conflict. But now, with alien allies and revolutionary technology at their disposal, humanity prepared for a final, all-or-nothing push to drive the Zarkonians from their home world. General Sarah Hawkins, once a colonel leading guerrilla strikes, now stood at the helm of Earth's combined military forces. The command center, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, hummed with activity as holographic displays showed the positions of both friendly and enemy forces across the globe. The Zarkonians are consolidating their forces, Sarah explained to the assembled War Council, a mix of human leaders and alien representatives. They're pulling back to their primary strongholds, preparing for a last stand. Admiral Chen, her face lined with the stress of years of war, nodded grimly. They know we're coming for them. The question is, do we have enough firepower to breach their defenses? Dr. Amelia Reyes stepped forward, her eyes gleaming with barely contained excitement. I believe we do. Thanks to our Nalorian allies and contributions from the Vulcan Confederation, we've developed something that could turn the tide definitively in our favor. She activated a holographic display showing a sleek, almost organic-looking device. We call it the Harmony Disruptor. It exploits a fundamental weakness in Zarkonian physiology, their reliance on a specific subatomic frequency for neural transmission. This device generates a field that scrambles that frequency, essentially paralyzing any Zarkonian within its range. A murmur of excitement rippled through the assembled leaders. Elder Sura of the Nalorians raised a delicate hand. The range and the effects on other species. Current prototypes have a radius of about 5 kilometers, Amelia replied. And we've run extensive tests. It has no effect on humans or any of our allied species. It's specifically tuned to Zarkonian biology. General Hawkins leaned forward, her eyes sharp. Production status. We can have enough to cover all major Zarkonian strongholds within 2 weeks, Amelia answered confidently. The room erupted in discussion, strategies being formed and discarded rapidly. Finally, Admiral Chen raised her hand for silence. This is our chance, she said, her voice carrying the weight of years of struggle. We hit them simultaneously, at every stronghold, with everything we've got. The Harmony Disruptors will be our ace in the hole, but we can't rely on them alone. This will be a full-scale assault, ground, air, and space. She turned to their alien allies. We'll need your support. Not just in technology, but in ships and troops. This is humanity's fight, but the outcome will affect the entire galaxy. One by one, the alien representatives nodded their assent. The Nalorians pledged their advanced bioships, capable of adapting to any battlefield condition. The Vulcan Confederation offered their matter-facing technology, allowing troops to bypass physical barriers. Even the reclusive Thuril, insectoid beings of living crystal, promised a contingent of their fearsome warrior coast. As the meeting adjourned and preparations began in earnest, Sarah found herself standing beside Miguel Ortiz, now a general himself and the leader of Earth's Titan Corps. Did you ever imagine it would come to this? Miguel asked softly, gazing at the holographic display of Earth, crisscrossed with battle lines and deployment zones. When we were just resistance fighters, scraping by day to day. Sarah shook her head, a wry smile on her face. Never. But here we are, about to decide the fate of not just our world, but maybe the whole damn galaxy. 2 weeks later, as the sun rose over a scared and battered Earth, Operation Earthrise began. Across the globe, Harmony Disruptors activated, their fields spreading out to engulf Zarkonian strongholds. In the skies above, a mix of human and alien ships engaged the Zarkonian fleet. The space around Earth became a maelstrom of energy weapons, missile swarms, and exotic alien technologies clashing in a dazzling display visible even from the ground. On the surface, the scene was no less chaotic. Titan mechs, now enhanced with Nalorian biotechnology, strode through war-torn cities, engaging massive Zarkonian war machines. Squads of human soldiers, their armor a fusion of Earth ingenuity and alien tech, fought alongside crystalline Thuril warriors and shimmering Nalorian commandos. In what had once been the heart of New York City, now the fortress of alien metal and energy shields, Sarah Hawkins led the charge. The Harmony Disruptor had done its work. Many Zarkonian defenders stood frozen, that alien nervous systems scrambled. But not all were affected, and the fighting was still fierce. "Push forward," Sarah yelled, her voice carrying over the din of battle. "We take this city, we break their back." Beside her, a Vulcan soldier phased through a solid wall, flanking a group of Zarkonian heavy infantry. On her other side, a squad of human troops deployed swarms of nanobots that ate through alien armor like acid. High above, Miguel Ortiz piloted the most advanced Titan ever created, a true fusion of human, Nalorian, and Vulcan technology. He grappled with a Zarkonian megatank, the two titanic machines locked in a struggle that shook the very ground. In orbit, Admiral Chen coordinated the space battle from her flagship, a repurposed Zarkonian dreadnought. "All ships, focus fire on their command vessel," she ordered. "If we can take out their leadership, their whole fleet will fall into disarray." The battle raged for hours, then days. Across the globe, similar scenes played out, desperate, furious combat as humanity and its allies fought to reclaim Earth city by city, stronghold by stronghold. Finally, after a week of non-stop fighting, Sarah stood atop the ruins of the Zarkonian Central Command in what had once been Beijing. The alien leaders, those that survived, were led away in chains. She activated her global comm link. "This is General Hawkins to all forces. The Zarkonian command structure has fallen. Repeat, the enemy command is down. Push for full surrender." A cheer went up from the assembled troops, human and alien alike. As the sun set on the final day of battle, news spread rapidly. Earth was free. The Zarkonian occupation was over. But as Sarah looked out over the devastated landscape, she knew that this was not truly an ending, but a beginning. Earth had won its freedom, but at a terrible cost. And now they would have to find their place in a much larger, more complex galactic community. The war was over. The real challenge of rebuilding, of forging a new future for humanity among the stars, was just beginning. A new era dawns, humanity's place in a changed galaxy. 5 years after the decisive battle that ended the Zarkonian occupation of Earth, the planet was a study in contrasts. Gleaming spires of alien-human hybrid architecture rose from the ashes of war-torn cities. Vast scores of land, once rendered uninhabitable by Zarkonian weapons, was slowly being reclaimed through advanced terraforming techniques. In the newly constructed Unity Plaza in Geneva, representatives from across Earth and dozens of alien worlds gathered for a historic occasion. Today marked the official inauguration of Earth into the Galactic Concord, a coalition of species united in their desire for peace and mutual prosperity. Admiral Helena Chen, now serving as Earth's first ambassador to the galactic community, stood at the podium. Her weathered face, etched with the lines of hard-won victory, surveyed the assembled crowd, a tapestry of diverse alien forms alongside human delegates from every corner of the globe. "Friends, allies, honored guests," she began, her voice carrying across the plaza. 5 years ago, we stood on the brink of extinction. Today, we stand as equals among the stars. Our victory against the Zarkonian Empire was not just a triumph for humanity, but a beacon of hope for oppressed species across the galaxy. In the front row, Dr. Amelia Reyes listened intently. The years since the war had been a whirlwind of scientific advancement. The exchange of knowledge with their alien allies had catapulted human understanding of physics, biology, and technology forward by centuries. Her own work, combining human innovation with alien insights, had revolutionized fields from medicine to space travel. "But our work is far from over," Chen continued. "The fall of the Zarkonian Empire has left a power vacuum in many sectors of the galaxy. It falls to us, and to all members of the Galactic Concord, to ensure that vacuum is filled not with more conflict, but with cooperation and mutual understanding." As Chen spoke, screens around the plaza displayed images from across Earth and beyond. Nalorian bioengineers working alongside humans to restore damaged ecosystems. Vulcan matter-facing technology being adapted to clear orbital debris. The crystallines thrill, once reclusive, now maintaining a permanent embassy in the heart of New York. In orbit above, General Miguel Ortiz oversaw the final preparations on humanity's Hope, Earth's first true interstellar exploration vessel. Built with a fusion of human ingenuity and alien technology, it represented the culmination of humanity's long-held dreams of venturing to the stars. Back in Unity Plaza, Chen's speech reached its crescendo. Today, as we take our place among the galactic community, we bring with us the very qualities that allowed us to survive and triumph: our adaptability, our creativity, our unwavering determination in the face of overwhelming odds. These are the gifts we offer to our new allies and to the galaxy at large. As applause erupted from the assembled delegates, both human and alien. Sarah Hawkins, now head of Earth's Combined Defense Forces, allowed herself a small smile. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with both promise and potential pitfalls, but humanity had proven itself resilient beyond all expectations. In the years that followed, Earth became a hub of interstellar activity. The planet's unique history as both a victim of invasion and the catalyst for galactic change made it a natural diplomatic center. The ruins of Zarkonian strongholds were repurposed into schools, research centers, and cultural exchange facilities. Humanity's influence spread across the stars. Their ships, crewed by both humans and alien allies, ventured into unexplored regions of the galaxy. Human adaptability and innovative thinking proved invaluable in diplomatic missions, often finding unconventional solutions to age-old conflicts between species. Yet challenges remained. Some human factions, emboldened by their victory over the Zarkonians, pushed for a more aggressive, expansionist policy. Others feared that too much alien influence might erode human culture and identity. Balancing these concerns while maintaining their place in the galactic community became an ongoing struggle. The remnants of the Zarkonian Empire, too, remained a threat. Though their power was broken, splinter factions continued to cause trouble in distant sectors of the galaxy. Earth often found itself at the forefront of peacekeeping missions, working alongside their allies to maintain the hard-won peace. 10 years after joining the Galactic Concord, humanity faced perhaps its greatest test yet. A mysterious signal from deep space hinted at the existence of a species far more advanced than any in the known galaxy. As debates raged over how to respond, Earth once again found itself at a crossroads of history. Dr. Amelia Reyes, now heading Earth's premier Xenoscience Institute, addressed a special session of the Galactic Concord. This signal represents not just a scientific opportunity, but a philosophical one, she explained. How we choose to approach this unknown could define our species, and indeed, our entire galactic society, for generations to come. As preparations began for a joint human-alien expedition to the source of the signal, the mood on Earth was one of cautious optimism. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger. They had taken their place among the stars and proven their worth. Whatever this new challenge might bring, humanity was ready to face it, not alone, but as part of a greater galactic family. The war that had nearly destroyed them had instead propelled humanity to heights they had never imagined. As they stood on the brink of yet another great unknown, the spirit that had allowed them to triumph over the Zarkonians burned as brightly as ever. The stars, once a distant dream, now beckoned, and humanity, tempered by fire and strengthened by diversity, was ready to answer that call, not as conquerors, but as explorers, diplomats, and innovators. The next chapter in their cosmic journey was about to begin.